Good afternoon, Sumi. This is Caroline Tapkin interviewing for Travel Daily Inspiring Women in Travel Asia series. And today we have with us Sumi Soorian, who's based in Phuket but has a journey to tell us about getting to Phuket and what she's now doing in Thailand. So welcome, Sumi. Nice to have you with us today. So tell us who you are, what you do and where you came from.
Thank you, Caroline. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me to the show. So my name is Sumi Soorian. I am currently the Executive Director for Phuket Hotels Association. Just to summarize how I end up in Phuket and what I'm currently doing. So in a nutshell, I lived in Malaysia until I was 18, and I went to study in America for about 4 years. And then ended up in Australia for over 10 years. And I worked there for a little bit before I then got secondment to a role for my Australian company in China for about 6 years. And after that, we took a sabbatical, my husband and I at the time, and we moved to south of France. I was a full-time mom at the time. And then we decided, south of France may not be where we want to live. It was great for that 2 years that we took a break, and we thought, it's time to get back in the workforce or do a business. And being in the south of France was quite limiting to what we would like to do. So at the time, we decided to take 3 months off from our sabbatical and decided to go somewhere tropical. And that's where we decided Phuket, between Bali and Phuket at the time. And that's how I ended up here.
You've not always been in travel and hospitality though, have you? How did you end up in the travel business?
No, I've actually started in the travel business when I moved to Phuket. So I haven't been in the industry. I've been in several industries. So my background is business management and marketing. And which is quite fortunate because I find that the skill set is very transferable. So when I moved here, I was a full-time mom. My kids then started schooling, and the school was just rebranded to United World College, Thailand. And I'm passionate from an education background previously. I'm very passionate about education. And I believed in their ethos and their philosophy, and it was about supporting and giving opportunity to people who deserves, who wants education. And I started with a group of parents to create a fundraising to support a Thai national to study in the school. And at the time, I was spotted, who's now my mentor as well, and he was the president of the Phuket Hotels Association at the time, Anthony Lark. He was also the ex-general manager for Trisara Phuket. So I was very fortunate that he approached me to see if I would be interested in creating the similar event for the Phuket Hotels Association. So raising funds to put through underprivileged Thai students in the area of hospitality and tourism studies. And I took a 6 months contracted position for that. And that's how it all started.
Okay, fantastic. So education is your background, and that's led you to the Phuket Hotel Association. You've been there for 5 years. What have you been doing during that time with them?
Yeah, so 5, coming up to 6 years. So the Hotels Association is very focused. We've got 3 pillars. So education is one of them. So raising funds to support underprivileged Thai students to study in the hospitality and travel tourism area. We also look at training and mentorship. And second, which we really take pride in, is sustainability and environmental issues, particularly looking at the impact as hotel operators to the community and the environment, and how we could lessen that negative impact in our operational day-to-day activities. And thirdly is destination marketing. So we do a lot to promote Phuket as a destination. So the Hotels Association is a non-profit organization, and we are non-commercial. So we just focus on the bigger picture, on the destination and the industry. So my role there day to day is to look at activities and projects to enhance these three pillars. So whatever we do, we make sure that it comes back to those three pillars that we feel strongly about.
How many Thai students are you supporting at the moment?
So full-time studies, and we support them for the whole duration of their studies. We've got 35 students at the moment, and our first graduates were this year in July. There were 5 of them.
And is that for hospitality studies or general studies?
Hospitality only.
Specifically hospitality. And what happens to those students when they graduate?
So basically, they get the opportunity to intern in our hotels, and ultimately, get a job.
Okay, how many have gone through the program so far?
So we've got total 35. Gone through the completed 5. Yeah, 5.
5.
So we started about 4 years ago, and we had inactivities for the last 2 years. So we weren't able to raise funds. So we weren't able to put through more students at the time.
Okay, so those 5 that have graduated, are they currently working in hospitality?
Yeah, a few of them are. Some of them, due to the current condition or circumstances, they've gone back to their provinces because of family. Some of them were on furlough or changes in their circumstances, so they had to go back to their provinces.
Yes, it's been a tough 2 years for everybody, hasn't it? Hopefully we can see the light at the end of the tunnel soon when that comes. And what sort of fundraising activities have you organised, and what sort of things actually work best?
So we conduct the biggest gala event. So it's a gala dinner. We do an annual event for that, and we attract about between 350 people to 400. And it's mainly a food fest with entertainment. And the main source of income from that event is really our silent auction and live auction prizes. And that's, through the support of our network, like hotels giving prizes, our sister hotels and partner hotels outside of Thailand. So we have an online bidding system that you could purchase. So you don't have to attend the event. You can purchase, and it goes on for like a month.
Okay.
And that's the best way of not only they get good deals from the prizes, but we get to raise money as well.
Fantastic. And how do students apply? Do people recommend, or how do these kids get into the program?
So we partner with the local schools in Phuket, the universities and vocational colleges. And we work with the school and we have a process and a system in place. So there's a minimum of 3.5 GPA that they need to meet, and they need to demonstrate. So we take existing students that with financial struggles or strain, and without this additional financial support, they may not be able to complete their studies. So we rely the educational provider to tell us the list of potential students, and then we support them that way. We also work with a local foundation. They are called Phuket International Women's Club, and they've been in the scholarship and educational activities for about 30 years. So we collaborate with them in terms of working for the vocational side. So we've got the vocational studies, and then we've got the university studies as well.
And this will be a mix of nationalities, I assume. You'll have Thais and international expats.
We focus only on underprivileged Thai nationals.
No, I mean the support network, the fundraising, supported
yes.
by the international community as well as the Thai community.
Yes, correct.
And you've been in Phuket for how many years?
It's coming up to 10 years.
Okay.
Mm.
And what are some of the challenges that you've had working there and getting these programs moving? What are some of the challenges that you yourself have experienced?
The challenges in Phuket, I think, from the projects or personal challenges?
Personal with the projects.
I have to say, Phuket, it's got a very strong community spirit, and there's a lot of people who are willing to support. If it's not monetary, they support by giving their time and their effort or the skill set. So I think we're very fortunate that the community comes together very willingly, and especially our hotel members, they also give quite generously. So the challenges, I would say, that there's a lot of there's quite a few charities on the island, and we raise funds for different purposes and different focus. So the challenge is really getting the pool of funds, because you are tapping into a very limited source.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the same people that goes to the events and donate. So there's this thing called a charity fatigue in Phuket. I think that would be the main challenge, and also giving out prizes. So the hotels are constantly throughout the year supporting many local charities and giving out the same prizes. So it can be quite taxing for the community.
Mm. And it's been a quiet couple of years. How do you see it moving forward? Do you see enthusiasm there to start with the charitable events again, or are people reticent?
Yeah, we're going to actually start again the fundraising this year. In the last 2 years, the community has changed its focus to helping the island people on the island who have lost jobs or been on furlough by giving life bags, so food and other support means. And I think that has been incredible. Our hotels as well has been offering food to the local community, and that has been a really strong focus in the last 2 years. And I think now that tourism is back, we see quite a lot of increase in international tourists since the borders open. The hotels are in a better position now, not as good as what it was before, but it was still better than during COVID times. So we do see that, the support is slowly coming back, but we have to be mindful as well and look at, priorities. They may not see funding, education at the moment is pressing as to feeding the poor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we just got to weigh up and maybe not be too ambitious in our fundraising target.
Mm. What about the other pillars that you talked about? The Phuket Hotels Association has sustainability and environment. What's happening in those areas?
So we are very passionate, and probably one of the key drivers of sustainability in Phuket. We host annually an event, a forum called Phuket Hotels for Island Sustaining Tourism. And it's also a non-profit organized event where we have speakers, workshops, and this is where we collaborate with chambers, embassies, and also government agencies. So most recently, we work with, the USAID agency. So we have a collaboration where we have a environmental specialist that comes out for 3 months and conduct audits in all our hotels. So mainly looking at single-use plastics and food waste management, or waste management in general, and then offering their solutions. So going around auditing what we're doing and then come back with some solutions and recommended
it sounds like an awful lot of work. How many do you have on your team?
Yeah, so basically the core team is just 2 of us and the president. We have a lot of support from the members. So we have 3 working groups in those 3 pillars, and they consist of the working group, the hotel members representatives. So we've got general managers, specialists, and the group consists of between 3 to 5 committee members that will help, brainstorm ideas, and will also help to implement and execute these projects. So we have champions that that will take on some of the projects. So we support from head office all the on the ground logistics. So the hotel comes quite supportive in terms of resources as well. So we're very fortunate that way that we all come together and help where we can.
How do you keep them all motivated to keep coming and helping?
Well, we do recognize everyone's effort. I think giving them the opportunity to champion the projects as well, I think that gives a sense of ownership and accomplishment. I think especially if it's something they're passionate about, then they'll be very willing to drive those projects. And I think generally the hoteliers in Phuket are very passionate about the island, passionate about the industry, and all these roles are volunteer roles. So we put it out there to see who would be interested to join any of these 3 working groups. So whoever that actually expresses the interest generally already have the passion to do it and very willing to do it. So and they come with the expertise as well. So I think we're very blessed that way.
What drives you?
For me, it's really giving back. I love the work with the association because there's so many aspects to it that I could give back. I could give back to the educational committee, the community. I could give back from a sustainability and environment point of view. Like I feel good at the end of the day. Like I can go to bed thinking, wow, I've done a lot today that helped, the wider community and not just hotels or I helped generate, I guess interest to the destination, the industry, and I created all these events. So it's a lot of giving back that's not just focused on me, but the wider scope of things.
It sounds all very integrated. So you're like a puppet master, pulling all the strings together to make things happen.
Yes, and how hospitality is quite different as well. I think the people are very different. I think they're fun, they're easy to work with. I think, it's like being in a hotel. They're very hospitable. They're all very welcoming and they look after you. So it's the same with the people as well. When you work with, it's all generally fun. I don't find it stressful, and also because I love what I do, so I don't think it's stress, and it's actually very accomplished. I feel very accomplished by the end of the day.
You've had a few different career strands. How long do you think this one will last? What's in the future for you?
Yeah, well, but in Phuket, really the main areas of work is hospitality and tourism, or F&B. So I also own, me and my partner own my partner and I own a restaurant as well in Phuket. So that's our family business, and I'm very passionate about that too. So so I think given there's COVID and there's a lot of opportunities out there where the mentality of a digital nomad is actually very acceptable now. So yeah, let's see what's in store.
So you're maintaining a couple of different things, a portfolio career. It's not
Yes.
all hotel association. You have your restaurant as well.
Yes, and also during COVID, I also taken on a consultancy job with a PR agency called Delivering Asia Communications. So I was with them for 2 years. That was also fantastic. It was a different avenue. They focus only on hospitality and real estate, in not only in Thailand but outside of internationally as well. So that has been a great experience for me. So I like to dabble in different things. I don't like to keep still. I like to do I like to multitask and work on different projects.
Looking back over your career, what advice would you give to your younger self? Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self?
I would say try everything, but more importantly, for me, I think mentorship has been really important. And in my work life, I've been quite fortunate, particularly in the hospitality industry. I have Anthony Lark, I have Bill Barnett, and they are industry veteran. You know, they've been in hospitality for over 30 years. They know it inside out. So for me, that mentorship was really invaluable. I've accelerated my knowledge about the industry and the ins and outs. Yeah, I think finding a mentor to help you or guide you would definitely accelerate and probably help me get to where I needed to get to a lot quicker.
So being open to all new experiences and having people to guide you along the way.
That's right.
And the younger generation up and coming, I mean, you're from Malaysia, you've lived in China, you've lived in France, you're in Thailand. Young girls, particularly up and coming, what sort of advice would you give to them if they want to follow in your footsteps?
I would say have an open mind, trying new things. It's always challenge yourself. I think never to fall into a comfort zone. I think the next level of career progression, it needs to be a little bit more challenging. You got to push yourself. If not, then you're just going to be, it's going to be a parallel career move rather than natural progression. So
challenge yourself.
Yeah, challenge yourself, have an open mind, and try new things.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Ooh, I do feel like I have about 10, 15 years to go in this next move. And I do want to make an impact in my career. For me, giving back is really important. And I would like to do more of that in a bigger scale.
What sort of thing do you have in mind?
I would say coming up with an educational program or curriculum. We talked about working with local schools here to work with international providers, you know, so instead of sending students overseas, you know, we can have a collaboration here where they could have the same level and quality of education or training, particularly in hospitality, rather than elsewhere. I mean, they could do it in Bangkok or anywhere else, but we certainly don't have it in Phuket.
Okay, because I know there's hotel school in Bangkok, isn't there?
Yes, there's quite a few.
Lucid set up one, and
yes,
there are a few there. But
and there's minor group as well
for the local population.
That's right.
That could be very interesting.
Mm.
Okay, as we wrap up here, any final advice for, think of the students coming through now who maybe you'll be supporting in the coming couple of years. What advice would you give to them embarking on the program that you offer?
I would say it's never too late to do anything. So don't feel like because of age or time, you feel you missed the boat. You know, there's always opportunities out there, even though in times of crisis, I'm a big believer that, you know, there's always an opportunity. So just looking at different, a positive perspective and always look on the bright side and challenge yourself. I am a big believer of positivity, manifesting all the good things in your life, and more importantly, have gratitude. You know, you have come a long way. I think we all are, you know, we're our worst enemy. We always don't feel that we're adequate, but we have come a long way, and just take that time to appreciate that, and then, you know, and move forward.
That's fantastic advice. I mean, yes, we all underestimate our own abilities, don't we?
Especially women, yeah.
Sumi, when we talk next again, Sumi, you'll be heading up your own hospitality training school?
Well, let's hope so. We'll be in touch in 10 years' time.
Let's say 5 years. We'll give you 5 years and we'll come back and talk again.
You're challenging me already.
Definitely. Thank you very much for your time today, and we wish you every success with the opening up of the borders and getting back into real life again. and get things moving again. And hopefully we can see more of those students coming through and finding those jobs and supporting their own families again.
Thank you very much, Caroline.
Thank you, Sumi.
Take care.